Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Trading Trends Single Stocks Edition today. And we got some movers coming at you with a fire show today, June 25th. And I'm not just saying that because it's 200 degrees here on the in the Northeast. So let us get into the doc and everything. You know what we'll be talking about, especially with Single Stocks Edition Day. It's going to be Nvidia, new all-time highs today. We'll take a look at the chart. The thing has been absolutely crushing it lately. The semis today actually marched on. Tech trades higher, led by Nvidia to new all-time highs. We'll take a look at some are falling. Some stocks hitting new 52-week lows. We'll take a look. One of the names right there mentioned, but right there, multiple standard deviation falls for Paychex, General Mills, and Vornado after the mayoral primary yesterday in New York City. You know, not gonna get into the politics, but there you go. We'll take a look at some of the commercial real estate, much heavily traded in the New York, or heavily with a presence in the New York area. But first off, as we always do, so we will get into the charts of those companies in a sec. Let's go first through the pie chart. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. I'll show you why. So we'll just track first the big moves here of the day. A little bit lower volume day today too, as well. Just going by spies. Maybe potentially more went into the single stock is what it looks like as you check Nvidia's volume today. Average volume 206 today at 264, and then SPY trading under more of a single stock day. Tesla gave back 4%. Nvidia took that 4%. Coinbase up 3%. We'll take a look at that new 52-week high in that baby. We already talked about Nvidia new all-time highs in that. AMD, the catch-up trade is on that. You know, former hunk of junk, it was up 4% today. Palantir now got to the 140 mark. Not only that, they held it and actually tapped 148. We'll see if I'm not sure if Palantir is in the stock list today. I don't think it is, but we've been pointing out that 140 level, and I think it actually finally looks to be holding here. A nice flat day hold for Palantir. In terms of other big movers, Google up 2.3%. Super Micro, we'll take a look at that chart, up 9% today, a monster. And then MicroStrategy, I misspoke, just Strategy up 3% today. That stock looks great. So as I zoom out here, that's the Nvidia chart. I'm going to zoom out there. We'll get to that later. So this was the intraday chart, very quiet. Here's the open. We actually peaked in the market in terms of SPY at the open. We hit 608 half essentially in SPY, and actually had a hard time with VWAP 10 a.m. Onwards, all the way until that bottom, right around 130, slightly after the European close. We touched all the way to 605 half, and then we started rising again, just falling a hair short of VWAP on the close on a lighter than average day. As I zoom out here, as we've been talking about, expecting, if you take it back, a week or so, our call was seeing a bearish distribution phase ending on or around June 27th, which is this Friday, give or take a couple of days always. It is our end science. But we saw that the call had been that we'd be resting right around that 595 level by Friday. So sometimes when I'm not going to go into this super in depth because it's going to take too much time, but it's 15-day cycle on estimate. And sometimes with the volatility, something can have different momentum, different thrusts. It could be longer, it could be shorter. Sometimes it's 18 days, sometimes it's 12. It depends on the constituency, higher beta, less, more rate sensitive, less. It really, really varies. So all in all, it appears what I'm seeing from my model is that we very potentially started the bullish accumulation starting on the 23rd, which would then take us into those bullish highs, just basically slightly earlier than we thought, potentially right after the July 4th holiday. And that target right now I have right around 613 to 614, which would be new all-time highs by a hair. Also, not to get cute, but if you look at the all-time highs today, Microsoft, JP Morgan, Robinhood, there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of breath under the hood. We'll take a look later and you'll see what's going on when we look at these stocks. It's not just Rocket Lab and whatnot. There's lots of parts of the market, which lets me know it is coming. So so as of right now, right around, we'll stick with that, right around that July 4th holiday, which is on a Friday. I think it's next week or whatever it is. It's July 4th. So about a week and a half from now. So next Friday, looking like right around that 610 to 615. I'll go with the upper there and say 16, right where my cursor is. for new all-time highs for the market is what it looks like. I think that was a nice slight consolidation right there. That was the rare or the give back consolidation right there from 603 to 593. A nice give back of June 11th to June 23rd, a 12-day consolidation. We'll see if that was enough, maybe a little more zigzagging, but things are looking good for the market. Let us get into today's movers with the big moves up. We'll save NVIDIA for 1 second. We will start with Yum Brands. These are the Taco Bell, Pizza Hut folks. Interesting looking chart. I haven't looked at this in a while. Big move today of 3%. That is big for Yum Brands. They're trying to etch their own comeback here against a rising 200-day moving average, which is 141 even. These guys were overbought crazy from February 6th all the way into March 7th into the high. Literally a month of standing room only here, all the way from 132 to 162. And then there's a give back now all the way at 141 support where your 200-day moving average is. A nice move today, obviously. Would have liked to see. I mean, I've traded all the way to 149. They closed 147 here. I'm trying to see how much of an extension or how much of the move is left. It is definitely trying to carve its way out here. For me, fully target, I think it has a nice week to 10 days ahead of it. My full target for this is about 149, and I don't think it's any coincidence it hit 149 quarter and then right back down. Significant resistance as well at 151. It's going to take a while for that to be worked out. But a nice day today. Go get yourself a Choose Gordita Crunch, I suppose. But this is also a break higher in RSI for the first time since the right before this fall off here on April 3rd. So interesting, nice momentum, but I think it's been a big move from 138 to 149. And trees don't go to the sky. Full target 149. There are better charts than this one. But Yum, a nice move today. All right, let's get to the one that everyone's talking about. Nvidia, new all-time highs. AI game, strong, alive, and well. This one pierced up 4%. New all-time highs here, 154.63 in the stock. You get a nice bullish confirmation here too, overbought here, 74, essentially matching the hysteria that we got in mid-May. That's second most all year. So things alive and well with NVIDIA and the semiconductors. Chart looks great. What else can you say? To me, full target in the short term for me, I have on paper here about 151 coming off of that move off of 131 back down here off of the lows from May 23rd. So even up here, the upper Bollinger Band is also 151. You get a little bit of volatility expansion, maybe 152. I personally don't like chasing it up here, but obviously been preaching NVIDIA and the AI story and mega cap tech. But I do think this potentially has it's a divergence, a call for all-time highs in SPY, in the next couple of weeks. But say NVIDIA is not going to have. We'll see. I don't want to go against the tape, but the chart tells me right here, trees don't go to the sky. A nice looking candle, but I just wouldn't be shocked if in a week's time this thing is resting at about 142. Kind of like the oil chart looked to me. It looks like a little bit high up here. Again, notice how many closes it's had above the upper Bollinger Band, even in the hysteria that's been NVIDIA for the last year. Here it had two, January 6th and 7th to start the year, and that's been it. So this is a matter of time. I do think that 151 will have a significant hold that's going to be like glue or a magnet rather and drag it down, I believe. So we'll see, but beautiful skies ahead. It finally eclipsed this January 7th top, which was 153 and got above that to 154 today. A nice thrust from NVIDIA. Just don't see a great week up ahead for it. See it potentially great day. Like I said, I see this moving down to about 142 in about 1 week or so time. All right, and the next one, we'll look at another super microcomputer. My goodness, this one ripped up 9%. This one's trying to etch a comeback for itself as well. It really started on May 14th after it got overbought for the first time since February, and they closed above a 200-day moving average. And now that 200-day is starting to stabilize at 38. Today we trade up to 46.60, up 9% essentially. Same thing as NVIDIA, actually. I just don't love this one. I don't think this is not a stellar performer, obviously, compared to NVIDIA, which is all-time highs. And you look at this guy that can't even etch out, 6-month highs. But, to me, full target was 48, essentially. It couldn't quite do it. The highs back there in May 16th, where I had that 48 line from, and for one marker. And yeah, I just see this spending time towards 42. I would not be shocked if this give back goes away over the next 1 week to 2 weeks. This actually looks pretty decent. Actually, a trade that you can put on, you can buy Nvidia, sell super microcomputer. If you just want to go with the momentum trend, this looks a little bit rich for me, and I think it's going to consolidate in this long rectangle here above the 200-day and below that 47.5. Looks like a good trade. You can sell strangles on the super microcomputer. Higher volatility, probably get paid on this out to check the duration. I don't know if you want to go out more than 2 weeks, see what the Julys have. That looks like a not terrible band to sell. The 40, 48, and that looks like kind of a wall now, 37, that 200 moving average. I think that'll hold too, and just going to be range bound, but we'll see. Okay, and then let us go to the losers here. So Paychex, this whole space was down today. The other one, ADP, was down as well. So these guys had a bad day, down 9%. This is coming off the highs here, June 6th, 161. Boom, all the way down to 137. You also always want to note like what is going on in the company's history. This is crazy. They exited the stock. So look at the sell-off before here. A good example. I will look up the news in a second of what happened here specifically with this. But as you can see here, we dipped on the 200-day moving average, still rising. They tested it. The next day, they bought it back, and it was barely underneath it for a day, and then they bought it back. Look at the movement here today. No questioning at 145 today, intraday, and said, guys, is that an all-time high? Yeah, an all-time high in a stock, and then you get 52-week lows in 3 weeks. That's the definition of the life comes at you very fast, especially in trading. So Paychex, really a great-looking chart. I'm going to take a look at the news for this one. I do not personally have let me see here. Firm posts lower than expected sales. Delivers mixed guidance. Q4 earnings. Revenue falls sequentially. Worst stock in the S&P 500 after earnings for the day. Revenue increase. Profit declines. Yeah, so really just taking out back potentially very high valuations here at that 160 level. But that's crazy to see. Just a crazy chart to see. Right here, I'm actually surprised that level broke, to be honest. I have two levels of this whole. I have 145, which is the 200 moving average, and then I have 150, which is the lower Bollinger Band. So to see it go all the way to 138 is really quite surprising. I think it's going to take time, but over the next 2 weeks, I do sort of expect this one to get back towards 153. If you have patience, you could buy, the 150 calls. Be careful. Check what the cost is, of course. Check what 25 Delta July, maybe August spread is. The 137, 150. I'll take a closer look at this tomorrow. But this potentially seems like an opportunity. But when they got down, there was a revaluation happening in the market, and you're seeing that before your very eyes. That is very gross. I just don't think that'll hold. There's going to be, like I was talking about, a magnet on the other chart. This is going to be magnetized to 145 in the coming days, and I just think I think it can do it. But Paychex, really a bad day. Let's look at another one. This is interesting, which makes me also think that the market is going to new all-time highs. They're selling this kind of risk-off stuff as well, like General Mills and some of the consumer staples, if you will, really aggressively. These guys were down 5% today to a new 52-week low. Look at that perfect tag of the 200-day moving average on March 10th, and then boom, went lower today. An ugly sell-off, down 5%, oversold for the first time since the January. Really no reason to own this stock since November the 6th. So basically, Election Day happened, and they really started to sell off this stock aggressively. Just give me a second. I'm having some funny business on my screen. But a couple other 52-week lows in the consumer staples area as well. My screen just threw up ARC for some reason, and ARC and General Mills are kind of the opposite of each other. So, okay, so for me on the screen, I have about a 51.70. I thought it was going to hold right around here. So, when you say a new 52-week low is going to happen, and then you try to see where it lands in terms of probability, it's a new 52-week low. It's weakness, so it's hard to gauge exactly when your tires go really off the skid. So here it went to 50.70, now 51.70. This is going to be Paychex is a much better buy, but General Mills looks like, because this is an insanely heavy 200-day moving average all the way back up to 62. This looks like it'll take 2 to 3 weeks, but I do see this mean reverting, trying to get towards 53. There's better trades out there, but you could potentially, it's an ugly looking chart. You could sell the 50 puts, see what it pays you. It might not be worth it. They're really selling the stock and then asking questions later. But it is, after all, General Mills. These guys, do $20 billion in revenue a year and a $29 billion valuation with a 4% dividend yield also. So folks will absolutely throw the baby with the bathwater. But yikes, nasty looking chart. Okay, and then we'll get to so there was an election yesterday in New York, and it's Democrat Socialist, and so New York real estate, the REITs were very, very aggressively targeted today. You had SL Green down similar percentage here, actually all down 2 2.2 standard deviations across the board. Vornado and another office REIT, SL Green, the ones that are really, really large. These are multi-billion-dollar New York ones. So relative strength breakdown here in Vornado, we're looking at here. These guys have been trying to really eke out a comeback since mid-March, honestly. And you look at it, spend a little bit of time with 200-day moving average, which is still rising. So you want to give it the benefit of the doubt. It meerkats its head up here for a little bit in mid-May, and then goes lower. And again, it can't break above 42, which it hasn't been able to do since late February. And then today, now a big fall on this. The 200-day moving average is now, it's still rising, albeit barely, but that's at 39.80. You see the stock down at 35.89, down 7%. I think this has obviously like another rough couple of days, up to a week or so to go. But I do think right around, to be frank, I thought 36, right around 36.70 would hold. So I don't think this is a horrendous level. It didn't get oversold today either. It's only happened one time this year on April 8th with a SPY 52-week low. Before that, all overbought behaviors in terms of registering and overbought, oversold. This guy was overbought from September into Halloween, leading up to its 52-week highs of 46.63 on November 11th. So quite staggering. But yeah, I think these guys will try to find a base in the next couple of days, 5 to 7 days or so, right around a 37 handle. I think this bounces up, and ultimately that 200-day moving average at 39.80. I think the beat goes on. I think it's going to try to do that meerkat action right here again, and then maybe another fall. This 39.80 to $40 is going to be a level to contend for Vornado for a little bit longer. Only thing will mention is the higher highs here. It got to 40.75, and sequentially after that, it got to 41.80, and then of course the drama with today. So interesting chart, but it's going to be tethered to this 40 for a while. Maybe sell strangles as well on that, and the volatility will pay you, but be careful with the strikes you pick. Okay, next, let's go to some winners. The best trades, I know you guys care about this, the top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. Here we go. Coinbase, your number one winner. This is staggering, up 38% over the past 5 days. That is amazing. New 52-week highs. Look at these moves here. I was talking with a trader about this online. Again, bullish confirmation here, overbought. Matches the hysteria we got in mid-May as well as mid-November. We were going higher and higher. Again, these guys were really sold on April 7th with the prior SPY 52-week low. They sold it down to 143 stock. The 200-day moving average, essentially a wall right here at 225. And then after the earnings report, forget about it, and off to the races today, going all the way to 359. What now in the short term? So this move today, 3%. That's a big pop. That's $10 in the stock. To me, full valuation I had around here, about 315. So I personally wouldn't chase it up here. To me, I thought it would stay a little bit inside of these prior highs, but this is absolutely a staggering move that began back here at 240. So I'm measuring it from there, which was June 13th, just 12 days ago. So again, the 21-day exponential moving average on this is 270. So there's a convergence of the moving averages here between 280 and 250. So it's absolutely amazing. I would say trees are going to the sky. I get scared when I see moving averages go like this. You're basically hitting 80 miles per hour until you hit something on the road. But absolutely fire stock all year. New 52-week highs. Wouldn't chase it here in the next 2 weeks or so. Kind of like similar, I said, with Nvidia. Some of these stocks that just got too hot right now. They will run out of buyers essentially at some point. And today, the stock actually did get to 369, and then they sold it off a bit, and then they closed at 360. I wouldn't be shocked if this goes to about about 275. That sounds crazy. I don't even want to say it out loud, but this is a crazy acceleration. The 200-day moving average is 235. So this is, got to take a closer look at this. This is an absolutely staggering run. 255 to 355 in like 4 days, guys. So be careful with Coinbase with new 52-week highs, absolutely crushing it. Next stock that's second best performer, ASTS, Ast Spacemobile. This up 23%. New highs yesterday on this one, hit $54. This one was actually down 6% today. Still overbought though. This thing's been standing room only since June the 6th. ASTS new 52-week highs, like I said yesterday. This to me, like I said, is fully valued at around $43, $44. Kind of a preview of what happened with Coinbase potentially in the future. This thing could stay highly more elevated than, you could stay rational. But this looks to me, again, look at the moving averages here between 38 and 32. I have anywhere from the 20-day to the 50-day. It's just not crazy. I wouldn't chase it here, and it wouldn't be shocking to me to see this drop to 39 over the next 2 weeks. And this thing can fall when it moves. So we could be talking sub 50 RSI on this thing in no time. But it did. Folks who were waiting for this to break out above 35. It took a long time. It was stuck between 35 and about 18. I know that's a huge range. It's a 2x, but for the stock, it does it for a couple months and it bounces moving on. And it finally did just that 2 weeks ago, and it's been adding, a couple bucks every day. So pretty crazy. The second best place to be in the entire stock market after Coinbase. And then we're going to look at the third best place this week, and it's kind of similar. Rocket Lab up 22% to be number 3 on our list. This is a new all-time high today. Okay, they actually did end up reversing it, and it closed down 3%, but it did hit a new all-time high intraday at $34, and then lower it goes. I like this one in terms of bullish duration. This one looks like it's begun. It's halfway into its 15-day cycle. This, to me, I think, kind of a crazy estimate for a crazy moving stock like this in the aerospace and defense field, but $33 or so. So I think it gets slightly a little bit back, but I think this has bullish momentum over the next 1 week. All right, top 3 losers of the past 5 days. We haven't looked at this chart in a while. HIMS, the worst place in the stock market to be this week, down 30% or an average of 6% a day. Today did 3.5%. Much of it was on this big drop. It lost 35% 2 days ago. So that's much of the move, and it is still obviously, of course, on the charts when you make a move like that. It's been the worst stock in the entire stock market. Of course, these guys, HIMS, these guys peaked in February. Technically, the high was at $73 back there. It came very close, a rock's throw away 3 weeks ago. It hit $67, and then just 5 days ago, $65, and now you're talking $42. So this one, nasty. I thought it would be a little bit more tethered towards this $52 as of a couple of days ago. Kind of interesting to see it trading and basing out at $42, a little bit lower than I expected, but this thing's been a freight train. You can see how close it got to the 200-day moving average. This is still here moving up with gusto at 34. So to say that it's holding with a 42, not too shabby. I think this still has bearish momentum over the next 2 weeks. I think this bounces. I think basically the move that you see this week, I think you see more zigs and zags over the next 10-ish days or so towards $40. But I don't think the absolute bottom gives way, but lower than I expected. And over time, it'll try to make a rebound towards $55. But that's more, in terms of next month. All right. And next one, Halliburton, the second worst place to be. Of course, HIMS down 30%. Halliburton down 11%. You saw the news today, BP getting bought out by Shell, or Shell looking into it, after you saw oil, absolutely crashing day after day. Here, Halliburton, not a great day for it, down 2.5% and worse off for the week. These guys not even close to their 200-day moving average. These guys got to 23.5, called it quits all the way down to 20. 52-week low is 1872. Just an ugly looking chart. Peaked back here last July at 37. And that's a crazy loss. This is Halliburton, an $18 billion energy company. Don't like the stock for the next 2 weeks. I think this is still in bearish distribution mode, and this moves towards $19 even, getting very close to its 52-week low over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Do not like the chart. And then the next one, this was a tie with Halliburton for losses on the week. Oklo down 11%. This is coming off of a high on June 16th. These guys hit 73.5, and then immediately, just very quickly, fell to 56.5. Still holding a 50 RSI as it has been since April 30th. Just an absolutely stupendous, quantum trading stock, electric utility and all that good stuff with nuclear fuel recycling technology. $8 billion company on no rev. I think these guys have a bullish 2 weeks. A good looking chart. It's a gift if you're able to enter this under $54. You can see how rare those instances are. But I do think this tries to make a move towards 68, honestly $70, where I have my target here over the next 2 weeks. I think this one's getting ready to go. And I know a lot of traders like this one. I have to look at the option chain specifically, maybe look at just the straight 60 delta calls. You can buy the stock. A call spread is jumping out to me here, the 56, 68. You have to check, maybe do higher up and do a 1x2. But this looks like a good chart. I think this one gets ready to go. There's a lot of bifurcation happening. Nvidia don't step on the gas potentially for the next 2 weeks. And we said the same thing, about Coinbase. You can see a big pullback in that stock. And then others, I think they have room to go. The other one, Rocket Lab, okay, low. This one looks good. So very interesting stuff. So top 3 trades of the entire stock market past 5 days. If you've been long Coinbase into new 52-week highs today, if you were short HIMS, and if you're long ASTS, you're absolutely crushing it. They are the 3 stocks to have traded these past 5 days. Absolutely incredible, stupendous. Congrats. And you know what? I actually did not put this in the doc, so we'll just do it live. Bill O'Reilly shout out. Oh, right, we'll do it live. But no, really, I did not do it. So for the Wednesday show, I like to do the stock recap of the 52-week returners. I did not get to do this in the doc, so I'm just going to do it right here live. Then you'll see the chart. So give me a sec. Oh man. Anybody seen any good movies lately? Okay. All right. So the top performer year over year is, I do this with meaningful parameters. So I can't pick, I'm going to disqualify right now Qubit or quantum computing because it's a $16 stock, even though it has masterful volume. It doesn't do it for me. I need a real mover. Same thing for D-Wave Quantum Inc. It doesn't make it for me. I need an actual tradable market. So I will go with the top performer up 582%. We are just talking about it. Rocket Lab is the best performing stock in the entire stock market since last June. This is not a flash in the pan, and we just talked about this chart. I think it has a bullish accumulation and for the next week or so, but again, fully targeted right around $33. You see the 200-day moving average back there at 20.5. So this thing's a star. It's actually your best stock this year, and it's peaking today. So congrats if you're in that one. Absolute superstar. As I move on to the next, it's very, I don't want to go in the same space, but Oklo, it's interesting. Oklo is number 2 at 490%. Okay, so we were just talking about this. When we were talking about GDX and FXI and these chances to get into superstars at the right level, I think you're seeing that right here with this 8% sell-off today in Oklo. I love entries around, if you get in, under $55, that's absolutely wonderful. I think this is worth a shot. And I think this is going to try and head towards $70 over the next 2 weeks. This is the second best stock of the entire past year from last June. Just to zoom in on that, these guys peaked last September, troughed last September at $5. It's a $56 stock now, and it's turned at 28. I think that you got a great opportunity to get into this as we speak. Love it under 55. If you have the opportunity with a 56. Interesting to note, they sold it off today down to 55.35, and they barely bought it back up. Maybe get a little bit continued weakness tomorrow. But this one looks fantastic. Soon, I know it's hard to say, down 8%, but it's the second best stock in the entire market. And then lastly, our number 3 best performer in the market is, no surprise, I don't think to anyone, we talked about it at the beginning, Palantir, up 481%. So basically right on the tails of Oklo. New all-time highs today. It tagged 147.60. Support, look at the 200-day moving average back here, 82. These guys have had above 50 RSI since April 10th. More buying pressure than sellers to me for 2 months on that guy. in terms of the near term for Palantir. I personally just wouldn't chase it here. My near term target is right around 148, which it accomplished today at 147.60. Amazing stock, the best one in the market, honestly. I just see a give back, similar to what I said in Nvidia, Coinbase. Some of these guys have come a lot. I'm counting this move again as well from down here, 121 just 3 weeks ago to 142. It's a $20 move, y'all. Trees are going to the sky. So I'm just not shocked if this makes a move towards 134 is what I'm saying in the next 2 weeks. So I still see that 140 level. We're talking about the opening being the new floor. I'm not so sure. This looks like it does want to visit 134 over the next 2 weeks or so. And that'll be your opportunity to get into the third best stock in the entire marketplace. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. 31 minutes today. We will be back on Friday with the ETFs and the whole recap. I'll let you know if I did anything on some of these names. All right. Peace.